Welcome to EmpowerFuse with your host, Dr. Carolyn M. Rubin. EmpowerFuse is a show of empowering messages with a focus on encouraging self-confidence, resilience, and a positive mindset. Certified life coach and six-phase meditation trainer, Dr. Carolyn Rubin, will unleash inspiration together while igniting motivation and creativity. Dr. Rubin will discuss many topics such as healthcare, leadership, life, growth, and we'll add in some laughter too. So please welcome the host of EmpowerFuse, Dr. Carolyn Rubin.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining me on this Saturday. Hope you all had fun yesterday with trick-or-treaters, and I look forward to having this conversation with you today. What if the most important meeting you'll ever attend is not on your calendar? It's the one happening inside your own mind. You see, your inner dialogue is actually the soundtrack of your destiny. The way you talk to yourself in quiet moments actually will determine how you show up in loud ones. Before any decision, any conversation, or any leap forward, your thoughts actually cast that very first vote. Welcome to EmpowerFuse, unleashing inspiration together. I am Dr. Carolyn M. Rubin, and today we are going to explore the inner conversation that actually shapes everything. Our theme is about self-leadership at the highest level, learning to manage the meeting within so that you can lead the meetings beyond. You see, the world will always reflect the volume of your inner voice. If your mind speaks chaos, your choices will echo confusion. If your mind speaks clarity, your presence will radiate calm. I want you to ask yourself, what have I been telling myself on repeat? And is it actually true? What have I been telling myself on repeat, and is it actually true? Grab your EmpowerFuse journal, because I want you to write down 3 recurring thoughts that dominate your inner dialogue. We're going to take those 3 thoughts and I want you to label them as helpful, harmful, or honest. So again, you're going to write down 3 recurring thoughts and label them helpful, harmful, or honest. Then ask, if my best friend shared these thoughts, how would I respond? And notice the patterns, because awareness is the first step towards transformation. When you ask, if my best friend shared these thoughts, how would I respond? That question alone can help soften your inner tone. Because compassion changes the conversation. Every leader has 2 voices. The one others hear and the one only they hear. That inner tone sets the outer tone. So when your internal voice is clear, compassionate, and confident, it becomes magnetic. But when it's harsh or doubting, it leaks into every interaction you have. Your team will feel it, even if you never say a word. So think about that. Every leader has two voices, the one others hear and the one only they hear. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but I want you to go back to your journal and I want you to make sure that you wrote down those 3 recurring thoughts and labeled them helpful, harmful, or honest. We'll be right back.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals.
Welcome back to EmpowerFuse. Before we went on commercial break, we were talking about the language of leadership. And as a reminder, every leader has two voices. The one others hear and the one only you hear. That inner tone will actually set the outer tone. You see, the mind repeats what it hears most. The mind repeats what it hears most. So thoughts become emotions. Emotions can become actions. And actions become identity. So think about that a minute. Thoughts become emotions. Emotions become actions. And actions become identity. I want you to picture this. Imagine your mind as a boardroom. At the head sits your inner CEO, the one who sets the direction. Then there's also anxious intern called fear, a perfectionist CFO, and called doubt, and a visionary called faith. So again, we have your inner CEO that sets the direction, your anxious intern called fear, your perfectionist CFO called doubt, and your visionary called faith. Each one speaks loudly at different times of the meeting, different times of the day. You see, fear worries about risk, and doubt will question your worth every time they can. But faith reminds you of your calling. So the balances of their voices actually will determine what your leadership presence is that particular day. So let me ask you this. Who's running your meetings? When you intentionally appoint faith as the chairperson, fear can offer caution, but without control. And doubt can turn from critic to data analyst and bring wisdom, not worry, to the conversation. If my mind is a boardroom, who has been leading my meetings lately? I want you to ask yourself that question and reflect on it for just a moment. If my mind is a boardroom, who has been leading most of my meetings lately? What decisions have I delayed because I allowed fear or doubt to take the chair? What have you put on hold lately because your mind said, not now? I want you to grab your journal because I want you to write down one phrase that you say to yourself that needs rewriting. If I were my inner CEO, what new direction would I take today? I want you to ask yourself, what's one phrase that you say to yourself that you need to rewrite? Then remind yourself, leadership begins the moment you take back the gavel in your own mind. Who's going to be sitting in that chair? Because that's where influence begins, intentionally, quietly, and deliberately. High achievers are often fluent in self-criticism and illiterate in self-compassion, because we confuse pressure with performance. We tell ourselves, if I'm not hard on myself, I won't grow. How many times have you said that? How many times have you heard others say that? If I'm not hard on myself, I won't grow. But the truth is, accountability without empathy becomes emotional burnout. You can hold yourself to excellence without holding yourself hostage. Think about it. Would you ever speak to your team the way your inner critic speaks to you? We all have that inner critic, that little voice that gets on our shoulder and whispers in our ear. But we would never speak to our team or our family or anyone else the way our inner critic speaks to us. You know what? It's time to re-educate that voice. So here's what I want you to do. Grab your journal, because I want you to name your inner critic. I want you to write it down and name your inner critic. Give it a character, but not control. And then when it speaks, I want you to say, thank you for trying to protect me, but I'm leading this meeting now. So name your inner critic, give it character, but not control. And then when it tries to speak, just lean in. Say, thank you for trying to protect me, but I'm leading this meeting now. You see, the moment you name it, you separate from it. You realize you are not the critic. You are not the voice. You are just the awareness that's hearing that voice. That shift, that single shift, can turn reactivity into responsibility. This is where emotional intelligence meets spiritual intelligence. It's the middle ground between EQ and SQ, in what I call the transformation quotient. Let me have you think about this a minute. How would I speak to a friend in my situation? Where in my life am I demanding perfection when compassion would create more growth? How would I speak to my friend in this situation, and where in my life am I demanding perfection when compassion would create more growth? Grab your journal. I want you to write a compassionate letter to yourself, as if you were mentoring you. So you're going to write a compassionate letter to yourself as if you were mentoring you. But I want you to start it with, I see how hard you've been trying, and I'm proud of you for, and fill in the blank. Start it with, I see how hard you've been trying, and I'm so proud of you for. And I want you to end the letter, from today forward, I give you permission to, and fill in the blank. So again, you're going to start it. I see how hard you've been trying, and I'm proud of you for. And you're going to end it, from today forward, I give you permission to. And I want you to read it aloud, and I want you to feel how the energy in your body will soften. See, this is the art of emotional recalibration. It's the leadership skill that no one teaches you, but everyone feels it. See, when you practice this, you expand your emotional range. And that expansion doesn't make you weaker. It makes you more human, more magnetic, more whole. So practice. Become more magnetic. And while we're on this next commercial break, I want you to write that compassionate letter to yourself. And start it with, I see how hard you've been trying, and I'm proud of you for. And end it with, from today forward, I give you permission to. Read it aloud and feel how your energy, the energy in your body, softens. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like, it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. You know, it feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back to EmpowerFuse. I hope you had a chance to write that compassionate letter to yourself, but if you didn't get it finished, please do so at the end of the show. Right now, we're going to talk about rewriting the narrative. See, it's time. It is time to rewrite the story. So we're going to take one negative line and we're going to replace it with truth. This is what I call the rewrite the line method. Pretty simple title, but with a lot of punch. So here's an example. How many times do you say, I'm not ready yet? I just don't know that I can do this. I'm just not ready. I want you to replace that line with, I'm learning as I go. And that is progress. Or maybe you're saying, I always mess this up. I never get it right. I'm always making a mess. I want you to change that. I want the new message to say, I'm practicing, and every try refines my mastery. One more. No one listens to me. Why bother? No one listens to what I say. We're going to change that line as well. I want that new message to say, my voice carries value, and I'm learning how to share it with impact. My voice carries value, and I'm learning how to share it with impact. You see, every rewritten line becomes a new neural pathway, a bridge from old limitation to new liberation. Over time, those bridges can build a highway of confidence. That's why this work matters. It's not just mindset, it's mind leadership. Now, I want you to think about this a minute. What story about yourself have you outgrown? What story about yourself have you outgrown, but yet you keep repeating it out of habit? And what truth is trying to emerge if you were to quiet the noise of doubt? Think about it a minute. And then I want you to grab your journal. Because here's what I want you to write down. 3 questions. The truth I choose to believe about myself now is, and fill in the blank. The truth I choose to believe about myself now is. What does the rest of that statement say? Second, the voice of my future self says to me. Complete your statement. The voice of my future self says to me. And when I speak this truth daily, I feel. What is the end of that statement? When I speak this truth daily, I feel. 3 questions. The truth I choose to believe about myself now is, The voice of my future self says to me, and when I speak this truth daily, I feel. Now, what I'm going to want you to do is to take one of those statements, and I want you to record it in your own voice. And I want you to play it back before you go to bed and let your future self tuck you in. So again, you're going to take one of those 3 sentences and you are going to record that statement in your own voice. Play it before you go to bed and let your future self tuck you in. Because you see, words are frequencies, and every affirmation will retune your energy. Your voice, spoken with conviction, literally reprograms your nervous system for courage. So I want you to close your eyes a moment. I want you to imagine a bridge. On one side is the old story that you've been carrying. On the other, the person that you are becoming. I want you to lean in and I want you to whisper, I'm crossing over. Because transformation is not a lightning strike. It's a crossing. And we're making a choice to change lanes. We are going to rewrite that sentence. Now, I want you to think back because you've listened to your thoughts. You've met your inner boardroom, CEO, fear, doubt, faith. And we've rewritten our narrative. But now it's time to bring that inner transformation into motion. Because mindset alone is potential energy, and action turns into impact. So think about it. We've rewritten the story. We've reset the boardroom. What's it feel like? And I want you to ask yourself, how do my words, my tone, and my choices align when I lead and when I'm done? See, integration happens when head, heart, and habit speak the same language. Think about it. Clarity. Know what matters most right now. Connection. Lead conversations with empathy and conviction. Anchor every action in purpose. Because when these 3 switches light up together, your transformation ignites in real time. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we will be right back to talk more about transformation.
Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Welcome back to EmpowerFuse, unleashing inspiration together. When we went to commercial break, we were talking about the 3 switches: clarity, connection, and conviction. Clarity, know what matters most right now. Connection, lead conversations with empathy. And conviction, anchor every action in purpose. Because when these 3 switches light up together, your transformation ignites in real time. And we're going to do just a little bit of a practice here. So grab your journal. Because what I want you to do is draw 3 columns. You're going to label the first column thought. And you're going to label the second column voice. And the third column action. And across the top of the page, I want you to write 1 current challenge that you're dealing with. So write 1 current challenge across the top, 3 columns: thought, voice, and action. Under thought, I want you to jot down what you tell yourself about that challenge. Thought, jot down what you tell yourself about it. And then under voice, I want you to actually say out loud what you actually say out loud when you think of that challenge. What's that inner voice that you're speaking out loud to yourself anytime you think of it? Put it under voice. And then under action, what are you doing? So under thought, jot down what you tell yourself about it. Under voice, what you're actually saying out loud. And under action, what are you doing? And then ask yourself, are they aligned? Is my thought, my voice, and my action aligned? If not, what's 1 micro adjustment that can bring truth into the flow? What's 1 little micro adjustment that you could do? Write it down. And then I want you to think about this. Where in your leadership are you saying yes out loud, but you're saying no inside? Where do you have conflicting messages? Where in your leadership are you saying yes out loud, but no inside? And what does integrity sound like when I speak to myself? You see, it's not about perfection. No, it's about alignment. When you align, you stop fighting yourself and you start flowing with yourself. It's where confidence stops being a performance and becomes your presence. Confidence stops being a performance and becomes your presence. Now, grab your journal, because I have 3 more questions for you to write down and think about. The first one: today I realign my thoughts, my words, my actions by. Complete the statement. When I speak and act from truth, I notice. Complete the statement. And the next time my inner critic rises, I'll answer with. And what's that answer going to be? So again, today I realign my thoughts and actions by. When I speak and act from truth, I notice. And the next time my inner critic rises, I'll answer with. See, when you hold an integration meeting with yourself daily, even if it's just for 5 minutes, you reinforce that your mind works for you, not against you. 5 minutes. Hold that integration meeting with your boardroom and ensure that your mind is always working for you. That's how transformation becomes consistency. It's how that inner conversation becomes your outer confidence. So, how do you feel now? You've just held that meeting with the most powerful person that you will ever lead, yourself. And here's the truth: the conversations you have with yourself shape every conversation that you have with the world. Your inner dialogue is actually the architect, your architect of your choices, your confidence, and your peace. When you speak to yourself with belief, you move differently. You walk into rooms differently. You lead, not from ego, but from alignment. So from this moment on, I want you to talk to yourself like someone worth listening to, because you are. The voice that narrates your life becomes the life that you live. Speak to yourself with the same kindness that built others. Now, one more time, I want you to close your eyes just for a moment. Think of one person that you've poured encouragement into this week. Now, I want you to imagine yourself that you're giving yourself that same grace, that same tone, that same belief. What changes when you do? So think of one person you poured that encouragement into this week, and give yourself the same grace, tone, and belief. Because that's the moment that you reclaim your power. We're going to take just a moment of reflection. I want you to put your hands over your heart. Close your eyes if you're in a spot where you can, I want you to breathe in gratitude and breathe out grace. Breathe in, breathe out. And I want you to whisper to yourself, I am safe to grow. I am ready to lead, and I am becoming who I already am. I am safe to grow. I am ready to lead. I am becoming who I already am. It's not just an affirmation, it's an activation. And I want you to record one positive truth today. Just one line. And you're going to play it back to yourself tomorrow morning. And let your own voice be your morning motivation. So again, you're only going to record one line, one positive truth today, and play it back tomorrow morning and start your day, your own voice being your morning motivation. You'll be amazed at how hearing yourself speak life can re-anchor confidence before the world can test it. So before your next meeting, your next presentation, your next conversation, I want you to pause. Pause for 30 seconds and just silently say, I choose calm. I choose clarity. I choose connection. 30-second pause. I choose calm. I choose clarity. I choose connection. Then step forward and take notice, because your presence will enter before your words ever do. I choose to make my inner voice my greatest ally. I choose to lead the meeting within with grace, truth, and courage. Can I choose to make my inner voice my greatest ally? And I choose to lead the meeting with grace, truth, and courage. You see, transformation doesn't begin with others believing in you. It begins the moment you believe what you say. Transformation doesn't begin with others believing in you. It's the moment you believe what you say. Thanks for spending this time with me on EmpowerFuse, unleashing inspiration together, where we ignite what's inside and amplify what's possible. I want you to carry this truth with you. The conversations you have with yourself are not background noise. They are the blueprint of your next breakthrough. Conversations you have with yourself are not background noise. They are the blueprint of your next breakthrough. And remember, clarity, connection, conviction. Change your negative to a positive. Write that compassionate letter to yourself. And make sure that the boardroom in your mind is listening Put faith at the head of the table. And remember, thoughts become emotions. Emotions become actions. And actions become identity. Thank you again for joining me. Keep leading from the inside out. Remember, you are the leader of your inner meeting. Let your voice, your true, kind, powerful voice, become the soundtrack of your destiny. And when that meeting is led with truth and grace, the world can feel it. Till next Saturday, enjoy your family, friends, loved ones. And God bless you. Thank you for joining me today.
This has been EmpowerFuse with your host, Dr. Carolyn M. Rubin. Join us each week as Carolyn brings individuals together to share ideas, to collectively support each other, and to spark inspiration. Saturdays, 11 a.m. Eastern.